So you might be hunting for an apartment, tracking home prices in a neighborhood you're interested in moving to, or keeping tabs on investment properties in general. Regardless, real estate search is one of the things that can eat time fast. You open the site, scroll, filter, click around, and then realize you're gonna have to do all of that again next week because the market moves so fast and you need more time. In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can use Firecrawl and Claude together to automate the entire process. Claude will pull the listings, filter it to exact criteria, and then save it into a weekly digest that you can review. You set it up once and it'll run on a schedule, no coding required. Let's build it. So if you have watched my other videos on Firecrawl, you'll know what it is. But if this is your first time, Firecrawl is a tool that converts websites into clean, structured data that Claude can read and work with. Now you might be wondering, can't I just do that in Claude to begin with? Yes, you can. Claude does have excellent web searching capabilities. However, it does struggle with parsing heavy dynamic JavaScript pages or any kind of complex websites. This makes it hard for it to read and scrape the data that it needs on certain pages. And this is where Firecrawl can do more of the heavy lifting and parse dynamic content that's found on these type of complex pages. When connected to Claude, it'll provide it with the clean, structured text that it needs. And then Claude can do whatever you need and process, summarize, or act on that data. Now, Firecrawl does have multiple plans that you can use. The free plan comes with 1,000 credits a month, and for this video, that's plenty that you need. However, if you're interested in doing way more, they do have a hobby plan that's $16 a month if billed yearly, and then $83 a month for more scaling, and then finally growth at $333 per month. So I'm right now in Claude Code. You'll want to make sure that your Firecrawl account is connected to Claude. If it's not, go into the video that I just linked right now. It takes about a couple minutes, and you'll need a free API key from the Firecrawl site. Now, the next thing you want to do is think about the format that you would like your final output to be in, whether that's in Google Drive, an Excel sheet, Word, locally on your computer. If you would like something that's saved locally on your computer, make sure you have a folder set up. In this case, I have this real estate folder right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. So that way, anytime I have any files that are created by Claude, that will go ahead and be saved locally on my computer. Now, if you want it saved into your Google Drive, you'll just have to make sure that Google Drive is connected to your Claude account. And to do that, you'll go to Customize right here, select Connectors, and make sure Google Drive is connected. I'm already connected, but if you're not, you'll see something here that says Connect, and then you will just provide it with the approvals for what kind of permissions you would want it to have. Now I'm going to go back to Claude Code. Now I'm going to go ahead and enter my first prompt. I'll make sure to include all my prompts in the video description below. But basically what I have here is use Firecrawl to crawl this apartment listing page, and I have it set to apartments.com, specifically Colorado Springs. Limit to 2 pages, pull the name, price, number of bedrooms, neighborhood, and listing URLs for each property. Filter to only include 2-bedroom units under $2,500 a month. Format the results as a clean numbered list. So let's go ahead and press enter. Now, as you're doing this, pop-ups like this will appear asking for permission. That's totally fine. It's just telling you what it's looking for and asking you permission to search for that item. So I always just press always allow. It's still going to keep popping up, but don't worry about safety and all that. It's literally just telling you, hey, I'm taking items from this page and researching it. Can I do that using your Firecrawl account? Now, as we're waiting, I want to break down the prompt a little bit more. You'll see that I started with use Firecrawl, and that's very important because you want to make sure Claude does not use its own existing research tools, but you want it to use Firecrawl. And then Claude is going to be the one that's going to filter whatever data that it gets from apartments.com using the specific items that you asked for, which is like name, price, number of bedrooms. You want something that's 2-bedroom units and $2,500 a month. Finally, I ended with format the results as a clean numbered list. You notice that I did not ask for a spreadsheet or a document yet. That is because I want to finalize and refine my output as good as possible before asking it to be converted into any kind of documents or format. All right, so as you can see here, Claude and Firecrawl is done. It says here are the results after filtering both pages for 2-bedroom units under $2,500 a month. It pulls up exactly where the apartment is, how much it costs, how many bedrooms it is, and that it's in Colorado Springs, which is what we asked for. And finally, it also links out the listing that you were asking for. And when I select the listings, this is what it looks like, which is great. Here is the other one for you to see. And now I'm going to go back into Claude. And then it gives me a note about the data. It says apartment.com's listing class displays the starting price and minimum bedroom count for each property. Most listings start at 1 bedroom and shows the the 1-bedroom price. Only listings explicitly labeled as 2 bedrooms were captured in the extraction. 2 others were excluded, so it gave me the 2 others. What it's telling you is that some of the listing cards are only showing the starting price or the minimum bedrooms, which a lot of apartment complexes also have 1 bedroom, so they're just going to set those first. So Claude is basically telling you if you want to look up more, try to set it to 1 bedroom and see if they have options for 2 bedrooms with those apartment complexes too. Now I know 2 listings is not a lot, but to be fair, I did limit this to 2 pages for this demo. So obviously if you want more, you could do 10, you can do 15. Just make sure to keep track of your credits that you're using with Firecrawl. If you're doing the free 1000 credits, then you're good to go. It just stops at 1000 credits. However, if you're doing the paid plan and you want to be more mindful of how you're using your credits, just go back to the Firecrawl website and check your credits as you go. So before I continue, some of you might be asking, why am I not using Zillow? Isn't that the royalty of real estate search? Yes, it is. Unfortunately, Zillow does block automated scraping and requests. This is a deliberate choice on Zillow's end to protect their data, and basically they just want to make sure more people are using the website itself instead of AI tools. I think Redfin also does that, but so far the websites that seem to work is apartments.com and realtor.com. So if you're not just searching for apartments, let's say you want to look at houses or other buildings, then try it out with realtor.com. So in summary, if you try it on a new website and it returns quite empty, it might have bot protection. So it's real hit or miss. You just have to keep trying different websites and see which one it works best with. All right, so now I want to go ahead and ask it to keep searching. So I'm going to say expand to 4 pages now to provide more listings. Now Claude is done searching all 4 pages. As you can see here, it came back with even more listings for me, and it also specified from which page it came from. So this looks really great to me. I want to go ahead and save these results now into a Google Sheet. So I'm going to use this prompt right here. Take those filtered results and save them as a new Google Sheet in my drive called Real Estate Search, and include today's date, include the property name, price, bedrooms, neighborhood, and link for each listing. Now remember what I mentioned before, if you do not use Google, that's fine. Just make sure that you're connected to whatever tools you want it saved on, or if it's on your computer, then just make sure you're connected locally to the folder that you want it saved. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and press enter. So for some reason, it was telling me that it was not connected to my Google Drive, even though it already is. I verified it in the connector section in customize. So I just said I'm connected, and then now apparently it's able to do that. So it says I'll create the Google Sheet now by uploading the data as a CSV, which Google Drive will auto convert to a Google Sheet. Now I'm going to go ahead and select all the permissions, always allow, and Claude is done. It says here, done. Your Google Sheet has been created and saved to your drive. It contains all 12 filtered 2-bedroom listings under $2,500 a month with columns for property name, price, bedrooms, neighborhood, etc. And now I'm going to go ahead and check out the Google Sheet link, and here's the Google Sheet. Now you'll notice that it's a little bit messy. So this is where you can ask Claude, hey, can you make sure to wrap all the columns when you do this, update it to a specific font that you like, and stuff like that. So that is something that you can tweak using Claude. So now let's take this a step further. Instead of just making it a one-time thing, what if you want Claude to do this every week at a specific date? That's possible by going into Cowork and selecting Scheduled. Cowork is Anthropic's desktop automation tool. It lets you take a workflow that you just built and lets you set it up to occur on a recurring basis. So I'm going to go ahead to New Task and select Create with Claude and use this prompt right here. A couple pop-ups might show up asking you a bunch of questions. You can just go ahead and skip those and use this prompt if you like. Every Monday at 8 a.m., use Firecrawl to crawl apartments.com Colorado Springs for new 2-bedroom listings under $2,500 a month. Save the filtered results to a new Google Sheet in my drive named Real Estate Search followed by the date. So we're going to go ahead and press enter. You can also take this up a notch. If you want it saved to a specific folder in your Google Drive, you would just tell Claude that. Be like, hey, can you make sure to save all these sheets into the folder called Real Estate 2-bedroom listings. Now this shows up right here. I'm going to go ahead and select schedule. And now it says here, you're all set. Every Monday at 8 a.m., Claude will crawl apartments.com for 2-bedroom listings under $2,500 a month in Colorado Springs and save the results to a new Google Sheet named with that date. One tip, run it once now from the scheduled section in the sidebar to pre-approve the Firecrawl and Google Drive tool permissions. That way future runs won't pause waiting for your approval. The Cowork app also needs to be open when the task fires, so please keep that in mind on Monday mornings. Yes, that is a very important caveat. All these scheduled tasks only run if your computer is turned on, so you just want to make make sure that your computer is running, which a lot of times during the workday, most people have their computers on. So that's where I would recommend any scheduled task that you create. Think about when you're using your computer and timing it with that. So now I'll go to scheduled. As you can see here in scheduled, the task has been created. So I'm going to select it. It says here next to the caution icon, this task runs during peak hours, which is weekdays 5 a.m. to 11 a.m., 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and will consume your session usage limits faster. So that's just giving you an FYI. So I'm going to go ahead and select run now. Now, once you select run now, you'll notice in your history date a timestamp for today at 1:54 p.m. This is where it's going to list out all the scheduled tasks. So whenever you want to refer to any of them, you can just go here and select them. All right, so I've selected it. And here it says always allow for all scheduled runs, which is what we want to do to make sure in the future it's just going to automatically run. So I'm going to select always allow. Now the second one shows up. It's saying Claude wants to use creating file from Google Drive, and again always allow for all scheduled runs. So these are the two connectors that you're using, Firecrawl and Google Drive. So you want to make sure that those are approved for all future runs. All right, so it's done. It says here there's 10 listings found. There's a Google Sheet created, price range, highlights, and addresses. And then the final bullet, addresses are listed as Colorado Springs. Full street addresses are available on each listing's individual page. A few other things I want to point out. So I'm going to go back to scheduled right here and select the task. This is where all your instructions are saved. So if you ever want to update this is where you're going to go. You're going to select the pencil icon and you can update anything that you need right here. One thing you could also do is include a fallback prompt. So for example, let's say there's no listings for a day. You'll want to make sure to ask like, hey, even if when there's no listings, can you please generate a sheet and just say data was limited or there were no results. So that way you know that it still ran, but there were just no listings that were given. Some other ways you can update this prompt is, let's say you're buying instead of renting. Then you don't need to use apartments.com. Maybe you could use realtor.com instead. And it could be something like, find me 3-bedroom homes under $450,000. Another way you could do this is skip the per listing filters and just ask for what are the median prices and how long a property has been on the market for. You can run it weekly and have a homemade market tracker for any neighborhood that you're watching. You can also run the prompt twice and ask it to search two completely different URLs. Let's say it's apartments.com and realtor.com. And then you can ask Claude to combine it all into one Google Doc. And then finally, the last thing you can also do is update the search criteria however you like. Let's say you're looking for something pet-friendly, an in-unit laundry, good school districts. Whatever filters matters to you, just include it in the instructions in plain English. So try this out for whatever market you're watching right now and let me know how it went in the comments below. I'd love to hear more about what you're searching for and how it worked for you. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. I post weekly videos breaking down AI tools and concepts in plain English. This is especially helpful if you're just getting started. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.